got it bumping.
Falling in and out of consciousness, wondering if God made this a consequence. Could it be your daddy was incompetent? Could it be your daddy lacked the confidence? What could it be? What could it be? Tell me what's the reason that you really had to leave? What could it be? What could it be? Look, tell me what's the reason that you really had to leave? What could it be? What could it be? Tell me what's the reason you ain't crawling next to me? Tell me what's the reason you ain't ballin' next to me? Please tell me what's the reason you ain't talking next to me? What's the reason you ain't burping on my sleeve? What's the reason I can't teach you about the birds and the bees? What's the reason I can't teach you say excuse me and say please? What's the reason I can't watch you walk on your feet from your knees? I got questions and they need some answers. How come I couldn't teach you all about your manners? How come I couldn't set you to a higher standard? How come you couldn't come to me when you need answers? I remember reading it from mommy. We ain't believe it that you fell up out of body. We were supposed to teach you how to potty. I feel like I let you down, and for that, man, I'm sorry. Falling in and out of consciousness, wondering if God made this a consequence. Could it be your daddy was incompetent? Could it be your daddy lacked the confidence? What could it be? What could it be? Tell me what's the reason that you really had to leave? What could it be? What could it be? Tell me what's the reason that you really had to leave?
Yo, welcome back to the Plug Podcast. Shout out to that music video. Make sure you get into the description, get their information, follow that artist, like, share, and subscribe to them. President Q.
You already know what up.
We got a special guest for Plug Podcast 27. What up, DJ Double R?
Double R specialist. Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. We glad you could be a part of the podcast, man. Definitely a lasting legacy in the city. DJing, so it's definitely excited to pick your brain a little bit more and have you part of the culture here in San Antonio as well.
Appreciate it.
Man, how's life in quarantine?
Yeah, it was good, man. It actually got me to get back on my DJ game. I can tell I was just telling y'all earlier, man, it really took me a long time. I DJ for a while, and I just never really practiced. So
I seen you a lot of Facebook Live, a
yeah,
lot of Instagram as well live. How did you like?
I actually didn't do the mixing live because they always cut us off with the music.
Yeah,
and it's hard. I do a lot of samples, so there's always something on there. The music cops are always on there shutting me down. So I always it's under a minute. I try to speed it up a little bit where they can't catch the beats per minute on it. They blackball me. So
I gave up probably like 2 weeks into it.
And
I kept everybody's.
I stopped doing it, man. I tried it like maybe 1 weekend. I tried it and it cut me off like 30 seconds in. I just said forget it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
that's not cool. I don't like that. Facebook, y'all need to fix that.
Yeah, what it is, all the money, man. This guy had to pay some money to get the stuff on. That's why you see dudes like D Nice up there still having going 9 hours without stopping. Come on, it's all politicking, man. You gotta pay that money, pay that fee to all the record
like
labels.
Us, we getting those tickets.
Exactly. They don't want you to have it. Don't want you to have it.
So that's good. And keeping busy. How did that? How would you compare like playing from home to being out and playing for the crowd?
It's not the same because I feed off of energy. So when I see people, I watch everybody, and even times when it was dead in the club, if there's nobody I'm DJing to, it's like you can't really get a vibe.
Exactly.
So I mean, some DJs they'll have like a playlist ready. I just go pretty much off the head where I'm gonna go wherever.
That's kind of why I looked at a lot of the live DJing is it's like them showing their playlist, their curated playlist for the crowd.
That's another thing too. You like to keep that in the raps because now we live in a day where people be jacking stuff on the daily. I used to get my sets jacked back in the club. Seriously, it used to be DJs I would never see on their off days showing up, sipping tea in the corner, and they would try with the little. That was before the Shazam came out. They would have to sit there and in combination. Then I'll be booked, and my homeboys would go to the club and be like, "This dude just did your whole set right now. Jay-Z set." You know what I mean?
Hey, that's Jay Allen.
I thought that was only a thing with the comedians.
Nah, man, that's everything.
Yeah, rappers.
Same thing, man. It's all everybody.
That's whack. Get some talent, y'all.
Like
Come on.
I mean, for me, I'm a little thief here and there.
No, I have studies, man. My Kid Capri. I go to hear Jazzy Jeff. There's stuff you could hear, and music is universal, and you put out to everybody. But then when you just straight up like do a whole set, and you just know that that's not your genre. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of, it is what it is, man. You can't really do nothing about it.
I think like you can take stuff, but I would say use it and then mix it with whatever.
Yeah, there's stuff that goes together. There's stuff I teach
at
the school that like I think they go together and they put. You could use it. I feel free to. Yeah. There's DJ forums that have stuff already ready to go stuff, but you know, it gets to the point when you just constantly jacking something. It's like, all right, you know, might as well just
like make it
take my crate. And I don't even mess with them like that. I even had a DJ team like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, me starting off DJing, it gave me an opportunity to watch more established DJs and their mixing. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you know, kind of hear how far I am off and what I need to prepare for. So that kind of worked into advantage for me where I'm like, oh, okay, that was a good set. I like that.
Yeah, that's when you put in a little tray and you do stuff. Yeah, stuff I've learned in my whole. I'm always learning every day, man. I hear something new driving around, listening to music.
Hell yeah! So we're live here off 813.
Yeah, West Ave.
West Ave at your DJ school.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just opened up 3 months and it's been a blessing, man. I always had it in me for years. I used to teach, go to people's. They used to call me up to DJ, you know, and help them DJ. And I tell people just like anything, like you really want to DJ, go buy the equipment and make sure that you're interested in it.
Correct.
Again, because I'm DJ, I go home and DJ. There's no point in me teaching you on my stuff, and you go home and don't learn anything. You know what I mean? So I always wanted to open up a spot, and I work during the day with my partner of mine. He owns a couple of Metro by T-Mobiles, so he had this spot open for us, and he was like, hey, you know, I got this thing, you want to do something? I was like, man, first thing came to my head was DJ school, man. It's a perfect little setup, and it made what it does. You know what I mean? So I could have did it in the garage if I wanted to. But all I needed is the turntables and some stuff, and got the knowledge of teaching everybody how to do it. And that's it.
So you said 3 months so far?
This will be the third month. Okay. October. It just started. We actually, well, I guess to say 2, man, because you know we had a full month last month. We started. I wanted to open it like the mid-September, but with the quarantine, it was like it's still kind of shady. But I had a nice little turnout. I had so far about 12 students come through, and a couple of them already just graduated last week. And trust me, I'm always, like I tell everybody, once you come to the school, I try to teach you. I don't hold back on nothing. You know what I mean? There's no. It's like I tell people, it's not like a magician or I'm hiding stuff. It's more of like I really want to
bring the best out
of people in music. You know, music is universal. Like I want to go to spots where I go out and I want to hear a good DJ vibe. You know what I mean? There's places I'm just saying, be honest with you, I go to places and I leave because of music. You know what I mean? It's not you got to be Kid Capri or something like that, but you just gotta rock a party. And there's time, and I'm one of those heads that I can listen to the younger stuff, to newer stuff, to older stuff, to 70s, 80s, whatever. I can dip in the country, whatever.
You ever feel like DJs go underappreciated? Like just
they do a lot, and I think it's just the more of a. I think the people they love the DJs more, but
I know
the club owners don't really respect them unless you're like cool with them and like you have a good relationship with them. Promoters really don't really care, you know what I mean? They kind of do and they don't. I have some promoter friends that are really cool. They've been down with me and they respect the DJ. They know the DJ plays a big part. Because I always tell you this, like I was saying you earlier, you could have a party of 200-300 people and the music drives it, and the minute that let one of those cords get on loose and everything shut down, that them drinks are only gonna last so long, and people are gonna be like, we out of here. Like good 60% is gone.
I went to New Orleans last year, and they had what is it called, Bourbon Street? They got a lot of strips over there, and they were playing stuff from like 2004, and I was like, bro, like I had to keep leaving the clubs because I was like, man, I need a DJ that can play something that's right for the vibe, right for the night, up to date. So I think that DJs, like, I don't care how cool your club looks. I don't care how cool your bar is. You can have lights, strippers, raining women,
all that stuff, man.
Fireworks. But if your music ain't kicking, then I'm not gonna be able to vibe.
You could have, I tell you, you could have the rundown place, and it doesn't look as fancy or rich or whatever. You just got good sound system and a good DJ.
And
people are not gonna leave.
Yeah,
think about them old spots back in the day. Speaking of New Orleans, like them old jazz places, they were like underground spots, and they would go and you would just go and you would hear the good artists would be on the underground spots, and you would catch them all the time. Same thing with comedy. You'll catch some underground comedy, and you'll find that good comedian on there. That's exactly how I feel. It's kind of lopsided. Like you got the Hollywood clubs Then you got the mediocre DJs that are just like they're just like the how you say this, they're just up there doing puppet stuff, you know what I mean? Got the top 20 songs, just playing whatever, and then they're cool with their little 40 songs. They get away with the top, and everybody's not gonna get mad at them. Not gonna boo them off stage. They're cool. They got a little drunk, you know, and stuff, and they're gonna mind. But you get a DJ that can rock a party and understand how people move.
You feel it.
There's times I'm sitting there just saying myself, I got a handful of DJ homies, man. They can rock a party, and you'll notice where there's times where you'll feel it as a DJ, and some random person out of nowhere just walk up to you and be like, "Dog, I've never heard nobody DJ that way," and that's when you know you did your job. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of times where I've seen you and you don't really even have to speak on the mic.
Yeah, I never speak on the mic.
Yeah. And you just sit back.
Well, one of those ones I learned. You know, everybody say, "How come you like talking to the mic?" I say, you know what? There's a time and place for that. I never say I never did. I used to talk on mixtapes. I used to do a lot of stuff.
Gotcha.
I used to get in there, rock a party, you know, and DJ. Yeah. But then it gets to the time where, like, one thing I learned this from if you ever watch Jazzy Jeff, he does not talk. He gets an MC when he goes. He had a dude named Skills. Do you remember Skills? The wrap up and all that at the end of the year. He would travel with them everywhere, and he'd be the MC. But Jazzy Jeff don't talk on the mic. Now he started doing the quarantine. Does like on his he'll talk on the mic now, but he'll throw some stuff. But then you get the overkill of some dudes who just mess up the vibe and stuff. You seen that meme where the dude's just talking every 3 seconds?
Dude, basically
it gets to the point where like they're over the mixer and they're looking at him like, dog, get out. Like if you're a DJ and I'm just like this over your mixer, you're like, what are you doing? Yeah,
come on, man, I got this.
Acting crazy.
You go out there and interact. I don't need you right here fucking up my shit.
Yep, straight up.
So and that's pretty dope. What are some of the things that you hope that students or just DJs or in general that come to your school leave here with, or hopefully you inspired in a sense?
I want them to understand music in general. Like whether I teach them the beats per minute, I teach them how to read music. I got telling y'all, I didn't go to music school.
Correct.
I wasn't even in band. You know, most people are like, oh, you might be on you look like one of them band majors. And you're just, honestly, I mean, I wish I kind of would, because I would have ended up picking up a lot of stuff and stuff I just hear. I go, honestly, DJing is more of like 80% of you just hearing the music in your head and you're hearing stuff. Like the same thing. I couldn't tell you how to, like when you tell a rapper or how to be a good athlete, you could teach fundamental ways to take things that you learn, and then you could do things and put things to what it needs to be done. But the same way DJing, like the technical stuff, that's the easy stuff to learn. Gotcha. The part that I tell people to put their music together, that's where that you need to have it.
That's dope.
And that can make you different just off of your list or where you put things together and you understand how music works together. Like everything, you can mix everything together, like I was telling y'all, but you don't make sense. It don't make sense to mix together. Like I seen dudes who they'll mix a 112 song in with country, and then they go to Cupid Shuffle, and then they go back into they're going to trap music. And there are DJs who do that, and they think it's okay.
Correct.
Man, nobody probably wouldn't know the difference, because they're just, we don't care. We're not. Everybody's not in there, and I'm not the one going in there being like, you did it wrong, get out of there. But it's more of how to vibe and keep people there. Where you got everybody happy. Yeah, you got the club owner happy, you got the crowd happy, and then you get paid more. You know what I mean? That's what I want.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you look at wavelengths or like a graph.
Hey, there you go. Exactly.
Like, you know,
people to
vibe.
People vibe. You know what I mean?
Keep it steady. All right, bring them up. Bring them down.
I started off DJing, man, back in 2000. I was 18, man. I was doing house parties. Hey, and I went and did that, and I would go in there, and I had my list. I'm born and raised San Antonio, but I grew up like fascinated with the East Coast. You know what I mean? I never visited New York in my life, but I always was fascinated with, like, I would go down to the record store and I would buy music, and I would wait for I would know when they're coming out. I would have the Source magazine. I would go through it and be like, look, this record's coming out on this day, and I would show up there and they wouldn't come out, like, it only hit the East Coast. Like, man, so I would have to wait till it comes in. So I would go and hear music, and then I would be in the car, and I would hear the radio stations. And there was one DJ, as a matter of fact, I still keep contact with him. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he was DJ AK. He used to have a group back in the 90s called PKO, and he was our DJ. And he was a DJ that was on the radio out here, 96.1, when it was all hip-hop. And I would hear the stuff he would play. I was like, man, this dude's killing it. So then I would try to bring my process to figure out how I like music. I would try to guess in this song coming up. And it would be on point. Like, I'll be watching this boom and I'll be excited. That's when you know, like, I had no equipment and I would just be at the crib just trying to figure some stuff out. I told mom and dad, they were like in the education principals, vice principals. They were like, nah, you going to school. Like, I'm going to school to be on the radio. Like, I'm going to be in the radio, go DJ and do that stuff. So then I finally got enough I sold insurance and I got enough money to buy my own equipment and started just winging it and just started going out there and do my thing.
That's badass.
And I learned what I did. I learned the hard way because I wasn't sitting there just went in there and everybody they were rocking with me. Like I went to Hardendale High School. I went to the Southside School and they were dominantly like Tejano and stuff like that. So I was more, I went to East Central and then I moved over there. So then I ended up coming in with like crazy swag. I was DJing, playing East Coast records, whatever I wanted, and they were like, "Nah, we ain't rocking with that." So I learned at a young age, like, "Nah, you can't play what you like. You gotta play what they like," and I had to adapt to that as years, and then it holds its way.
Look at your crowd.
There you go. So that's how I live today. There's stuff that I don't even like in the club, and I have to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I've learned too.
But play it to the best as you can. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I got a whole playlist that just says "Keep them here."
There you go. Hey,
like,
I do not want to see these.
Yeah, I said, no, you think that's
like these are the songs
that's some cool names I get,
like,
man. My names are crazy. Let's show my crazy. Man. It's crazy.
So you also ran into Rudy Gay. You teach Rudy Gay.
Yeah, that's crazy because my homeboy he cuts his hair.
Oh, nice.
And he reached out to me and he was like, "Hey man, you still teaching people how to DJ?" I was like, "Yeah, actually I am. I was teaching like a couple of people. I go to their house." He goes, "Rudy Gay wants to learn how to DJ." I was like, "Oh, cool." He hit me up and not even like 2 days. He sent me a picture of his equipment and I was like, we over there went to his house and like, man, the thing about him, like everybody's the same thing. Like athletes don't know, like athletes want to be a rapper, rap want to be nah. But the thing with him, he knows music, and honestly, it's crazy. We both had like the same vibe, so it was just real easy to pick up. And he really has a lot of things like he really wants to do, and I think he can be a really good DJ. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So and his music selection is really crazy. Yeah.
You had one on your IG where he was mixing a little bit.
It's just that, and honestly, he didn't know how the DJ stuff worked. Yeah. And he just runs in here and just boom, he knows stuff like that. And again, like it's the same thing with he's an athlete, man. With the basketball, just reps and practicing, and it's gonna come around. You know what I mean?
The deal. He knows the deal.
You can know who got it. You know what I mean? Know who got the vibe, and it's again, it's all about the music. He'll sit there and hit me up when he was at the Bubble, and he was like, "Oh, would this song go with this song?" I was like, "Yeah, man." We shoot each other like different samples because I'm a big sample like getter, man. I go through samples like I hear things and like. I mean,
from 1960.
Yeah, I know. I used to get stuff out of movies, man. The thing I used to be a movie head. Like I was real into like, I was one of my favorite classes. I know people say like science or math. It was history. So history, I would always go and like watch those documentaries, and I would hear the music in there, and I was like, man, who did that? Who was that? I was like the person to find out who did that song, and I would look it up, 1946, and I would try to. Go through like a library and go through stuff. So I would do some digging in the crates and stuff with that.
You did some Nas today, right?
Yes.
It was Nas.
Yes.
Yeah, I went through like.
Yeah, I usually go through that. So I usually try to find. And there's gyms like people and Nas people hit me up all the time. That's why I keep doing it. They hit me up. They're like, man, dude, seriously, like I go through your stuff and I didn't even know that was even a sample. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know. Like there's stuff that people that they don't even. I try to be like a teacher and to be like, man, I just want people to enjoy music. And music is a life form of like it makes people. Like when they're sad, makes them happy, just makes them go. You know what I mean? Makes them do a lot of stuff, man. It's crazy.
Got one for him, crazy. I got a couple questions, but
I wanted to talk about more in quarantine, but I think he did pretty good on that one. Do we want to talk about? I guess we should because it's getting really close. Election time.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on?
Let's before we get his thoughts on that. That's a
commercial break.
Commercial break. All right. You already know it's a
commercial break.
Man. You know we got to get into these music videos. Don't act like y'all don't know. So we got one more segment. You know you wanted to get in there, man. Hey, you rush. Let's get into this music video. We got DJ Double R. This is podcast number 27. We'll be right back.
Yep.
Yeah, ain't nothing to it but to do it, baby. Focus and put your mind to it. You gotta stay down. Big Trensetta type shit. 10 toes down at all times. Yeah. Connecting flight in St. Louis, drunk sipping fluids. Anything I wanna do in life, I just do it. Trap game in the music, speak them both fluid. My Puma jacket 160, you know I had to do it. She told me that I changed, but I'm still the same. 7 Series Beamer came through, switching lanes. My whole clique is real niggas, no names. As I'm riding through my city, it's just not the same. My homie ride my other homie, it's a dirty game. I just proceed with caution, keep that Glock by me often. If a nigga run up, put him in the car. I don't sip lean, cause that shit'll leave me nauseous. Gotta stay sober, baby, cause I'm on some ball shit. I'm not the flashy type, so I don't wear my chain off. When I smoke, it's good gas, have your ass coughing. Connecting flight in St. Louis, getting flying mileage, nigga.
Yeah, honestly, with the, man, I'd be on that for whole days, but that's something different.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty to cover on that. I wanted to see, what are some of your best transition tips? As far as like going from one song to another, there's sometimes where I feel like, okay, this is the question. The BPM is out of the range, so it's like
but
80,
you want it to go together.
But I want it to go together.
There's a secret now. You can do this. There's 2 ways of doing it. You can either the newer equipment, they have where you can go on. You can do like 120 beats per minute into like 90 if you really wanted to, but you have to go and you couldn't even tell. And then the key, they have a key shift thing where you can't lose it, so where it sounds like it's screwed or like chick monkey or whatever, right? So they have that, or the secret they got, which I never use it. I'm always against it because I do everything off the head. Is a sync button. You know what I mean? Hit the sync button, the little key right there. Hit the sync button regardless of what beats per minute it is. It's gonna take it there. It's gonna match it whatever it is. Now I don't know if it's gonna sound right, but it might be. Now most of the time you can use that on is a lot of the samples they speed it up a lot on a lot of samples with the original. So that's what I do when I do those little routines. I end up, some of them they might be okay, you don't have to mess with them, but some of them you have to speed them up a little bit.
That's one thing I did learn, not to use the sync button all the time.
Yeah.
Because
there's DJs who's like their go-to is the sync.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And I'm like, you might as well just let it play autopilot. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you know what I mean?
Man, and they'll go too fast. It'll be like,
no. And then some of those older records that you can't sync them up. It's live instruments. So
So I'd be mad at the motherfucker. I'd be like, oh, y'all calm down. Hold up.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it back down. So a lot of my lessons I learned live, and I'm like, oh man, it's tough, but it's fun. It's definitely fun. So this is Plug Podcast number 27. Shout out to the music video. We grinding. We here with DJ Double R himself, San Antonio's own. Man, how you living? Everything going good, bro?
Good, man. Good. Everything's good, man. Just keep everything going. Still DJing. I'm out in the clubs 3-4 nights out the week.
Yes, sir.
Try to stay, focused. I actually run. I actually do, and I actually manage a Metro by T-Mobile stores. So I do that. I try to keep it moving, man. I never would. My pop was always a worker, man. So he was a driver's ed instructor, a principal, counselor, and he did stuff. He was always working, man. I just got it in me to do stuff.
He knew how to manage that time too. That's
so the music, actually, and he was a DJ too, but he did the Hano stuff. I got him like when I got through my DJ stage, he was doing the Hano gigs and stuff.
That's what's up.
Yeah, he was a big. I did the same thing what I do with the classmate. It says, what is your favorite music you want to DJ? He was like, well, I had a whole bunch of Tejano stuff, and I said, well, you can make. At the time when Tejano was popping, he was doing the Tejano gigs and stuff.
So it's kind of like a.
I try, teaching
so your dad can't be too mad at you. You kind of.
I got my daughter trying to get it going. I never pressured her to do any of the DJ stuff, but she sees me. She's 10, and she's like, now she wants to do some stuff. So I'm trying to
music.
Definitely into keeping her that. The TikTok is real hot right now.
Oh man,
those you start mixing those songs right now, you'd be good.
Please, for sure. So definitely shout out. Hope everything going great. Continue to grind for sure.
Man, appreciate
Put the city on as always. We left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, man.
That's good. My bad. Let's get that back in gear, President.
All right.
What you got?
So, first of all, before we get into this, everyone please go and vote within the next month. It's coming up soon. Biggest election, I'll say, in a lot of people's lifetimes. Let's make this happen. But I wanted to talk to you specifically. How you feel about what's going on just within this past month? Because we finally got to see the debate between Biden and Trump. I don't think it went. I mean, did it go how you expected it to go?
It went exactly how I expected it.
Yeah, I was hoping that it didn't go that way. But it went that way.
I wasn't. Honestly, I thought they were gonna have a mute button or something.
Yeah, man. It's just honestly, all those, it's a show, man. A show game, everything. Just it don't really matter.
It's starting to feel like that. Huh?
It's been like that for years, man. I was more of a growing up, man, through my whole thing. Like I was never into like the politics and all that, but at the end of the day, I was into real life stuff, meaning like stuff happened to me. So I was into more of conspiracy stuff, like the way stuff happens on a lower scale. Imagine it's happening on a bigger scale. So saying, look, I give you, because I've been in the clubs all my life. So think about it. You got a long line, right? Packed, people pulling up. Same thing when everything was going on. People trying to get in the club. How do you get in the club to get to the front of the line? What do you do?
You gotta go through the register.
Show your ID.
The front, okay. But if you're at the back of the line and you see all them people, how do you cut to the front in order to get in and pass all that?
Pay up.
Pay up. That's it. Oh. There you go. Here's a little 20 piece. Here's a little 50 piece. Here's a 100 piece. Some people dropping hundreds to get their group in. They go through. So that happens on a lower scale. Think about it on a higher end scale that we don't even see. That's happened. Meaning like there's dudes on top of dudes that end up controlling what's going on in this world.
Yeah, like really controlling.
Dictating things, you know what I mean? So stuff like that, all that stuff you see, that little TV thing, it's the same thing. It's an act. Same thing with everything's getting controlled on, man. So that's my theory on a lot of things, and it actually pretty works on in a lot of different ways, man. I'll tell you, there's that's things scary. That the same thing, and the same thing with the cop stuff too, man. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's some that like I've been plenty of times in my life term that you know, again, I had cool cops and I had some that are some shady stuff, you know what I mean? And like Mexico type stuff. They sit there, take your money, and you know, you ain't get back, you know, take you dry and you're done, you know what I mean? They let you go. Pay to play, that's it.
And I feel like a lot of those things just kind of not shifted totally, but they control what we watching.
Correct.
They say
same thing with the music.
Yeah, same thing. So it's like we see a lot of cop killings for black people, and what's one of the first things that someone that is not black shouts out, oh well, they doing that to them times 2 or times more. We have it more than the black people, but we don't see that. We don't see any of that. We don't see the white guy running out and the white cop shooting. We don't see that.
There's so much stuff without the telephones and all that. There's so much stuff that went on way before all that. And people don't see.
We only seeing them show us. It's like, damn.
They're training us how much, so all that whole, even the whole like the quarantine stay-at-home thing, it was to see how much we could tolerate. And as soon as the you know, the riots and everybody started rioting, they figured that, you know what, this is what we're gonna do now. We're gonna program them to get scared again, to go back inside. Meaning like, okay, now think about it. Now again, I'm one of the believers like COVID is real and all that stuff. I have people who had it and people who passed away, stuff like that. But there's a lot of issues that we don't know about on certain things with that.
Correct.
But when the riots hit, when everybody was rioting through the whole nation, all of a sudden, it shot up. The numbers shot up. So what did people do? Oh, you know what? I ain't going out. So now what they do is they say, okay, we're going to shut down this, we're going to shut down that. The minute that I tell people this crazy. I've been working ever since quarantine. Like I worked in the daytime, whatever. And again, I'm not sitting there saying I'm Superman or anything like that. I think I probably had like November, and I said I couldn't get it again or not. But I live life the way if you lived before quarantine, meaning like the same way that people fear walking outside, getting hit by a car, getting shot or whatever, is the same way. There's more things that I probably would be worried about than the whole COVID thing. This is my theory on things. So now at one point it's like a wave of things. Think about it like the sea. So when the wave comes in, the wave's probably huge in the middle, and it comes in, and when it hits the land, it ends up chilling. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when it first hit, that's why you see a lot of people like in New York and all that, because they're pretty much a lot of people there on top of each other. They were dying a lot because it was very happy. And then people end up getting it, and then they end up chilling a little bit. So I said, okay, you know what? Things like that are happening right now. If it's so crazy, then why is H-E-B open? Why is Walgreens open? Like if it's really, really serious, like you really shut down everything. Like nothing goes down. That's when it's like, okay. So when things were getting done and stuff like that, it got kind of like to the point where, and again, I'm getting people be like, oh, this dude is one of them. Like, no, I know it's real. I know people who work in the hospital. My brother, he's a fire department. He works. He works in the fire department and stuff. He sees all that. Everything does that people they do. It's like the flu. Just like when you go and kids will get flus, and it's the same thing. It's a different way of flu that I'm seeing things. You know what I mean? But they use the whole thing. They shut to see how much control they can do. To see what the thing going on, you see how everything's happening right now. getting tired, 9 months locked in the house, and it's like they start. We gotta get out and get this money because bills ain't getting paid. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So there was no. That's why I was wondering, like when they did do it, they didn't have any solution or any kind of.
And that little check was just like a little sprinkle, like here you go, a little water, one bottle for you.
And to give you guys an update on the second round of checks, Trump just stopped.
Oh yeah,
he stopped the talks of that.
Yeah.
He's like until after election.
Yeah.
We can resume the
I feel it's a little bribery to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Because he's the one in their mind, in his mind, he's the one that can. He's the one that and made that happen. He didn't have to make that happen. He made that happen. So now, you know what? I'm going to chill right now until y'all vote for me. Then I'm going to let the next check go. You know what I mean? So if I win, everybody gets a check.
Come on, man. Yeah. So I seen that. And he stopped all. And I was like, how is this man just going to stop all? Like, nope, we're not talking about that. We need to worry about the Supreme Court judge. That's what we need to worry about right now. That's where our focus. I was like, oh man, but make sure you vote in November. And vote in October. Early voting starts next week on October 13th here in Texas. So I say get it over with. Go in there. You find anywhere.
I sent mine out last week. The Mela thing. Download the thing. There's a little app you can download and do it. Fill it out, send it to.
There you go.
It ain't hard to register.
Don't be scared, man. Just do your thing, man. Like everybody got a voice to do that.
I feel like it's wild how. I mean, every president's always had their personality. You can always remember Bush being kind of, funny. Obama being like very, but I feel like it's becoming more. I want to say reality show.
Yeah, it is.
Like, what are you gonna do next? What is he gonna say next? What drama's gonna happen next? And I kind of.
The only reason when he first came on, it was actually I actually thought it would be not saying the greatest idea what happened, but he was a business dude.
I agree.
I'm always into people like with businesses and money and everybody getting money and he was doing stuff like that. And that's only. But after that, it's just been crazy, man.
I agree. I thought it was. I was like, okay, he makes money. He knows how to probably boost the economy, make everybody.
You got all that money. Boost it up a little bit more.
He exposed himself pretty bad. He's
already
okay. Maybe all that's not quite true.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say all this, that we need to not look so much at like what's going on the TVs, the personalities and stuff. Look at the actual policies, because you be surprised how close some of these candidates really are policy-wise to each other, and just make sure you know what you're voting for.
Exactly.
When it does
what you believe, man. What's your faith in? What do you believe in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't get distracted too much by
all the
drama.
Honestly, I could sit there and I could DJ a 20-minute set and the debate goes on. It still wouldn't even mean nothing to me. I just watch the clips again and be on some funny stuff.
Memes.
It's a
reality
show.
Clown.
And I couldn't believe you called him a clown. I was like, oh, you can't.
Yeah. Oh, just anything goes, man. It's crazy now. They're just straight up.
Would you shut up, man? I was like, oh.
I know.
Man,
I was getting tired of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you gonna let me talk?
Actually, they changed the format now or something. They're gonna do something different. I think they're gonna have to think like you talk and then you go your 20 minutes or whatever, and I sit there and I can't say nothing. You know what I mean?
There's gonna be
there has to be something. They have to change.
There's no way in hell.
I think they did that for that reason, for that back and forth.
Oh yeah.
That was ugly. That was almost humiliating.
That was hilarious. I was like, dude, he won't shut up. He's gonna keep talking over Biden no matter what. I was like,
just saying stuff. I was like, some of it ain't even cohesive. He's just saying stuff at this point.
Man.
It was interesting.
So NBA Finals came on tonight.
Yeah, that's something positive.
I'm watching the Jordan rerun, so you know.
Here we go.
The Last Dance.
He's not even worried about LeBron and his.
Man, that's
ring.
honestly, man. That's like honestly, Scotty was right, man. That's like pickup ball, man.
Yeah.
Even I was talking to Rudy. Rudy's like, man, that's just like, man.
Pickup ball. Yeah.
There's no like you gotta have like distractions and stuff. Like you go to home court advantage, you got to have the whole prep game, the whole before the nights, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I didn't play in the NBA, but I just knew the atmosphere is like you should throw a lot of stuff off. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, because you got to think like role players on the road, they don't play nearly as good as they.
No, it's a different, and it's like they're fragile, man. They're too like, every take a break or this has a rest. He has to rep 5 games and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Because I know the biggest L's are the Clippers, because the Clippers could not.
They weren't good, man.
They weren't good at all.
I just think honestly, it was all it was just the whole vibe thing too. Yeah, I think that whole bubble thing. You're actually like in boot camp, man. You're in jail. You can't do nothing.
Yeah, you can't.
Like you wake up and it's like I sleep in there and I have to come and DJ for nobody again. You know what I mean?
Can't go home.
Go back and go see the DJ for nobody. That's why.
Yeah,
I sit there and like
how many months? Almost 3.
And you're just like looking at the fake fans or on the TV, whatever. You know what I mean?
Like,
yeah.
Grab your bag and you walk right through the door.
Yeah, that is rough.
Yeah.
So how do you feel the finals matchup? Miami Lakers.
Yeah, it's
who you got? It doesn't matter.
If I had my team's the Blazers, man.
Yeah.
I've always been the Blazers since Clyde Drexler and Mighty Mouse and Terry Porter, all them old school dudes. Even the Gel Blazers when they went to Bonzi Wells.
Yeah,
those are all my squad right there. But if I had to pick, one of the players who was growing up he was my favorite was Alonzo Mourning. He was played for the Heat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that could probably, I guess, I run with. And I actually like the Heat's pretty good, man.
Yeah, I'm a Heat fan, so that's what I'm rooting for.
I'm going for LeBron. I need LeBron.
But you play for the Heat. How do you do this? I don't understand.
Yeah, I know.
There's a friends of mine. They're LeBron jumpers, like meaning like if he switches. If you hate the Spurs, right? And LeBron happened to come to the Spurs. Are you a Spurs fan now? No, I'm a LeBron fan. Like, I never heard that. I mean, I heard it, but I'm just like, how does that even?
This day and age.
We ain't loyal. We're loyal to the player,
That's it.
But I agree. When it comes to all sports, I'll say I'm like that. I'm loyal to like a lot of players. I appreciate a lot of great players. You're a great player. I know you put in a lot of work.
What's your comparison to Jordan and LeBron?
I mean, with them, I don't want to say there's not a comparison, but I think they're like two different players.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I feel like, who do you want at the end of the day? What do you prefer? Do you prefer like a guy who's gonna get your team to the finals and win it every time, but
or a guy
he's not gonna do it right away with Jordan? I think he did in what? He was 27, 28.
Yeah.
So,
took him a little bit.
And then you got LeBron, who's going to get you to the finals, but
so what happens here? So like the game's on right now. We don't even know. It was 2-1 or was it
2-1?
Yeah, I think it's 2-1.
So they tie it up. Let's just say they happen to lose the series.
Oh my God!
What's gonna happen? What's the LeBron era?
That'll be interesting. He can get you to the finals.
No, they'll be like, oh, nah, it was a bubble. It was an asterisk anyway.
Yeah, they will. Yeah,
if he wins,
there's excuses on every side, ready to.
All sides.
That's how it is.
Every year.
But he gotta win. If he loses, it's going to look like the Mavericks again. I don't think they should have lost to the Mavericks that one year.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? Y'all lost to Dallas? Come on, man. I feel like this would be the same thing if they lost to Miami. Like, bro, why you let Miami beat you? You should have been able to secure that one. So.
Well, Miami has been whooping butt though. They beat the MVP.
Honestly, I didn't. I'm be truly honest, man. I probably didn't. I think I watched the bubble when it was the Blazers were playing. That was it.
That was fun to watch.
The vibe is just weird, man. It's
it is weird.
It's like watching Summer League, man.
As a viewer,
like,
right?
I can't even.
That's why I feel like if you're
if
you're a basketball head, you're watching. But otherwise,
even if you don't go there, you just seeing the crowd. And same thing, football is kind of the viewing is the same.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't really based off seeing the crowd get all crazy.
Yeah, I mean, never really.
But the court side, you're next to the crowd.
Yeah.
You're right there next to the court side, and fans are getting in your face,
interacting with.
Right. Exactly. You hit a shot, you go get the crowd pumped.
Sometimes you see players grab the drinks, and so it's like.
So I'm ready for stuff to go back to normal. NFL's taking a big L on it as well. They got players falling left and right.
Yeah, they weren't ready for that, man.
Cam Newton had to sit out of the game against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
because he had COVID. I'm like, damn,
that's crazy.
Wow. So that's definitely tough.
I mean, that's for that sport. I mean, I know it's all money, man, but that's one of them you actually interacting with people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right up on.
It's not like a boxing match where 1-on-1 you got tested, I got tested, we're cool, but you're dealing with like 30 players,
so many
mixture,
variables.
coaches, everything.
Yeah,
you know what
everybody. I mean? That's
crazy, man.
That's a lot. So I want to talk a little bit more about you DJing. As far as your inspiration, we talked a little bit about your dad. What motivated you to keep going? You said you started at 18. What motivated you to keep going to where you are now? Why you didn't just like?
I always had a vision, man, and I had a vision of. I was fascinated with like New York DJs and how they came up. See, I was in San Antonio, where like only thing you can get is maybe tacos in Salina, you down the street in Corpus, but no music. And besides George Strait, nobody really came out of San Antonio where it's a music where we'll go down the street and be like, look, the A&Rs are right there waiting. New York, they're all there. So in order to get out there, I was fascinated with like Clue and Kid Capri and all that stuff. They would put mixtapes out and they would get artists, and so I had a label at the time when I was doing it. I was making artists, so I was putting a lot of energy into them and try to get everything. I could have had the DJ Khaled deal way before the DJ Khaled, back when I was doing my mixtapes with Paul Wall and Little Flip. You know, I had my insurance money, and one day I just went, man, I called up my boys, tatting up Little Flip, and I said, hey, I want to do a mixtape with you. And he was like, let's do it. And I ended up doing that, pressed it up, and just ran with it. And that's when every time the mom and pop stores were popping. And after that, I was like, I made a decision where like, man, this kept me in my name out there doing some stuff. I won some mixtape awards. I sold a lot of mixtapes. Went to Harrisburg, ended up meeting all my idols and stuff. Black Rob, ended up seeing Sab Judah had a label. I was up there with him in New York, and then we ended up meeting a lawyer, and everything started coming together. Then so I came back. That was like I was 22. I stopped doing the insurance, and then Flip hit me up to be his DJ, and I went on tour with him for a while, for about a year and a half, and then did that. Came back home and started smashing all the clubs again. You know? So I kept doing that, and just kept grinding, man. Again, like I said, I was always good with the music, man. And this wasn't like one of them Paris Hilton DJs. Oh, you just got on because you're with Lil Flip. No, it wasn't like that. I actually would go to. I traveled, and I would go to places, and I would show up places, and they would just be like, man, go DJ, and I would just start DJing.
I built up that resume.
Do my stuff. Yep. So.
What's one of the top lessons you learned as far as being a DJ, performing from a small crowd to?
It's the same energy. I mean, I think you should do the same all the time. Because I'll be in places where it'd be like 10 people, and I'd be in places that'd be like 500, 800,000 people, and it's all the energy, man. Just you build off that energy, and if you rock it the same way, it's just like practice, man. Like you're gonna end up, you know. You do it lazy, people gonna end up getting bored and gonna leave. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So always give your 100%.
That's it. I tell everybody that, because there's places I was telling you, man. I was a Texas A&M DJ, and I got booked at a spot downtown, and everybody looked at it as like, oh, I was a little hole in the wall downtown. I was like, nah. The coaches came in there and ended up seeing me, and they took me up to College Station. I was DJing for, you know, Johnny Manziel was playing and stuff like that. That's when he won that Heisman that year. So
I know, and those parties must be wild.
Yeah. So
white girls and cocaine everywhere.
That's definitely what's up. You got any other questions for Double R before we close out 27?
27.
What you got?
No, man. We actually hit on everything.
For real. We got some lessons learned. We got your school. We talked about your experience.
Yeah, man. Let me ask y'all a question. Who's your favorite artist? Who you listening to right now? And why?
Right now. Who have I been listening to a lot? Right now, he hasn't released in a little bit, but A$AP Rocky.
Wow, that's crazy. You're actually very few. I'm going to tell you this. I got a lot of artists, but that A$AP Rocky is one of my favorite.
Yeah, he's a killer.
His swag is like he actually can go like he's a New York head.
Yeah.
But he gets a lot of stuff from the South, and he does a lot of sample stuff, and it's like unorthodox.
That's what intrigued me. I was like, this New York dude.
Yeah, so he was in a way. It was funny because back in the day when Travis Scott was coming around, you know, Travis Scott went like San Antonio. He went,
that's right. I remember that.
I used to get them confused because I used to always think Travis Scott was A$AP Rocky and A$AP vice versa. So the look was the same.
Exactly. Yeah, their aesthetic was close. Now they separated a little bit more.
That's definitely a good one. I got Dom Kennedy.
That's a good West Coast one.
Yeah, that's who I've been listening to a lot lately. Me and my brother were talking, and he's like, man, I was playing some old Dom, and he was all like, man, when's the last time you had some stuff? I'm like, hold up.
Oh, yeah,
Dom.
All
his new, I was like,
I was like,
he must have been killing on the West Coast, because down south, like,
he had a real chill vibe, like real, like, he was in that era.
I kind of wish, like, because San Antonio, we're kind of like a military city. So
I always knew that when it was military based, I figured like, man, it's open there. Because I have met a lot of people that came from New York and they came from all over the place.
Exactly.
And you'd be like, oh, you would hear. I mean, back in the day when it was Lackland, they would have like NCO club up there, and they would be. That was my spot. I wanted to go and DJ there because I knew I wasn't getting San Antonio heads in there. I had to play Cumbia Kings all day. I had to play some other stuff.
If you went up there, you would have got everybody.
Got everybody going.
I look at that, and I'm like, okay, we got all these different cities.
You
think that would be our kind of culture.
The same thing, man. I tell everybody, Houston's 3 hours away, and it's a whole different vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're going there, and they're playing some stuff here, and in San Antonio, they still want to play like. Nah. Do you have any 2 Chainz or something? Like, come on. Like, we're still listening to the first. Like, I mean, nothing wrong with 2 Chainz. I'm just saying, there's other rappers.
I take out there.
My bad. Let's do this. You got any Wipe Me Down, Lil Bootsy, or you got the you got the golden age of yeah, man. Now we're on the I mean, that's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
I listen to like people freak out my they're like, oh, you're like one of them old heads. You want to hear, MC Hammer and some stuff like that. Like,
MC Hammer.
Nah, I be listening to like the new stuff. Like I'm on like the whole Smoke Dizzle. Like I like Currency. I like a lot of stuff. You notice I like the stuff with the samples. Like a lot of artists that use samples.
Yeah, I like that too.
Fred the Godson, he passed away, R.I.P. And I used to listen to this rapper named Stack Bundles. Back in the day, I used to work with him. Stack Bundles used to run around the whole Dipset. And,
okay.
Yeah, man, there's so much. And then Jay Electronica just dropped some stuff today.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah. Wow. It's he's always had a style where like I always like to compare rappers from like where they get the style from.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever heard this rapper named Killer Priest.
Sounds familiar.
He used to be at the Wu-Tang, but like the second tier Wu-Tang, not the Wu-Tang. So he would sound like him, and then there's another dude. Well, you heard West Side Gun. Yeah, so he's popping right now. But a lot of people see him, Action Bronson. They all kind of like in that little circle. So it's one of those. Yeah, it's like
I like that.
I always had that little vibe. But stuff like that, man.
Starting to get a little bit cooler.
Starting to build traction again. I was like, okay, hip hop's starting to go another direction. It is the turn of the decade.
Well, all those artists I named, I can't play them here.
No, I'm not saying I can. You're right.
I probably won't get hired the next day. Like, what is this dude playing?
If you listen around
West Side Gun,
a lot of Well, there are some ears around here and around the country.
They appreciate it. Those are the ones I need to get out more because I do little tester records. When I DJ, I try to throw a little something in there and see who's out there looking. And once I see a little table that got it, and I start,
I think those are the more introverted people. Everyone I know who knows about them.
They're the ones at home chilling. They don't come out. They don't come out. I say the ones that my friends argue me all the time. Like, man, where you DJ this week? I'm like, I'm down here. And like, what are you gonna be playing? I was like, you asked me this. I already know what you're gonna like. I'm not gonna be playing that because a lot of you are not walking through that door. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get it. If I had a survey, everybody walking through that door. Yeah. Every girl's gonna walk through there. They want to hear WAP.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They want to hear Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah. They want to hear all the twerking that's going on. They're not gonna want to hear West Side Gun. No. Don't even try to come over there. You know what I'm saying? So
you better play that early in the night.
If I didn't play early, they were already decided. Like, this guy messed my night, man, I'm out.
I'm not even going to stick around for this. He's playing that.
They was like, Benny the Butcher, throwing some Bodak Yellow.
Cardi B, please.
You were like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, that's some fun, man. I got so many stories. It's crazy, but that's a whole different issue. But
man, so anything else, man? I had a good ass podcast.
That's
cool, man. I appreciate y'all having me, man. Coming to school, and like I said, the school, man, is real chill. It's a month class. Got it. 16 hours. Try to make it reasonable. You know what I mean? Like again, I want to actually teach you something. Not just come in here and I know other people like who try to do it and they try to tax you and stuff. I'll work with you, man. I just want people like the people who actually came through, the students, man. They learned a lot. And I'm always on call. I've never been Hollywood, whatever. You know, I'm always to the point where you call me up and be like, "Yo, you need something?" No, I'm the type of dude show up and be like, "I'll tell you, do this, look." That right there just fix your whole little set. You know what I'm saying? I live off that. If somebody I can sit there and show them what I've learned and what I've done, and that's what I want to do. That's why I made this school. You know what I mean?
That's dope. And how can everybody follow you on
IG? DJ Double R 210. So it's D and then J and then the word double and then R and then 210. IG, I'm always on IG. Facebook, I'm on Facebook too, but I'm on that's like the family side. You know, still.
TikTok, you got TikTok?
Nah, actually I don't. My daughter always trying to give me. The TikTok stuff.
Hey, music
she all
and TikTok. I'm telling you.
No, don't get wrong. It's on there, but there's only so much I can. I can tolerate to see.
And I know see it, but there's a lot of songs.
There is. There even has. There's even.
Off of TikTok, I'd be like, damn.
Like some of the DJ sites, they have a folder that has the TikTok music, and they keep up there. You just download it and it's on there. You know,
people. You'll get
that's what you go play in the club when you get it back out there right now.
You'll learn a lot. Then honestly, you'll stay on your toes, man. If you got kids or you got like the nephews or whatever around you, they'll tell you your whole set. You know what I mean? That's one thing with DJing. I'm always learning, man. You're always figuring out a way to push the bar too, and you always hear ideas, man. I'll be at a spot. I was with this who was I with, this group, and they were listening to some like emu type music. I'm always heard. I just never dipped in that side. And they started playing the stuff, and I was hearing it. I was like, yo, what is this? So I started like dipping into it, like, yo, because there's ideas you get from there, and you can do things. And I tell people, man, you got to be open minded to a lot of music, man. You can't just sit there and there's so much. And that artists like the ASAP Rockies, they always go it out and they listen to all those other different genres like that, you know.
Facts. So, any shout outs you want to give? Man, people. I know you probably got a lot of them, man. I wouldn't even know to start. Nah. Shout out, man. Top. He's like, hold on, I've been waiting for this.
I really don't know, man. It's been late. I mean,
20 minutes later. No,
everybody know, you know.
Make sure you tag them. You gotta make sure you tag them.
Or if I like your pic, I really don't like a lot of pictures and stuff. So all I want to do is be liking stuff. You know what I mean?
You know.
That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah.
So, man, we appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate you having me, man. Appreciate you having me, man.
Number 27.
Coming through, man, and do it again. Whatever you want to do something. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna be back for sure. Oh, yeah. You got a lot more to show me, so I can make sure my sets.
I'm gonna get him right, man. Chris, I always tell my when the students come in here, what is your strong point? What's your weak point? And then I'm gonna make sure we're gonna practice on that to make it right. So
hell yeah, a lot more to come. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you go check out his page. This is the Plug Podcast number 27. We out.